We call the meeting to order. This is a regularly scheduled, called and convened Greer City Council meeting this evening. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be a fairly short meeting, but we will attend to the business in front of us. So we appreciate your attendance. With that, I would like Councilman Charles Lander, if he would, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and then an invocation for council. If you would, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here tonight in the service of our community. We are grateful for this city, for its people, and the responsibilities entrusted to us. We ask for your wisdom to guide our decisions, your grace to shape our words, and your patience to help us listen with open hearts. May all that we do be rooted in humility, integrity, and sincere desire to serve the common good. May our discussion reflect respect, thoughtful collaboration, and a shared commitment to the well-being of all who call this place home. We place this meeting and our work in your hands. Amen.
Amen. Well, with that, we are going to change gears just a little bit, and we are going to move to our public hearing this evening. We're going to include that as part of our meeting as well, too, but I do call the public hearing to order this evening. This is an ordinance authorizing the closure of a portion of a public road in the city of Greer. In a public hearing, we will entertain information from staff and also offer a time for public comment as well, too. So with that, I'll call the meeting to order. Any new or additional information, Mr. Sell, in regards to the public hearing for the ordinance authorizing the closure of a portion of a public road in the city of Greer?
Mayor, you'll notice on the agenda tonight, as the new business item is the first reading of the ordinance for the closure of a portion of Moore. The council recall adopted a resolution at the November 25th meeting to begin this process. All the required notifications were made to the residents in the area, along with notifications in the newspaper publications over the past 3 weeks to notify the public of the closure.
Thank you, sir. By show of hand, is there anyone here this evening that would like to address the closure of a portion of a public road in the city of Greer? I will ask the second time, is there anyone here that would like to address the council in regards to the closure of a portion of a public road in the city of Greer? If so, please raise your hand. And a third and final time, would anybody like to speak to council on behalf of the closure of a portion of a public road in the city of Greer? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, I'll call the public hearing to a close. With that, Ms. Duncan, do we have anybody to appear in public forum?
No, sir.
Council, let's move to the minutes of the council meeting. You have in your packet this evening a council meeting workshop minutes held January the 27th, 2026. I'm going to take these as two separate motions. With that, then, I'll entertain a motion that we receive the minutes of January 27th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any items of note for the clerk? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, you've also got contained in your packet the council meeting minutes from January 27th, 2026. They're in your packet as well, too. I'll entertain a motion to receive those.
So moved. Second.
Any items of note for the clerk? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. We are glad to have Maggie Blair with us this evening. Maggie joins us from time to time to give us updates on the Greer Farmers Market, and if we can get just a few more days in a row like we had today, she'll be chomping at the bit to get open. So, Maggie, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm honored to be here to present to you guys in the City of Greer. Every year we do an annual report, which you guys have in front of you, and it's also posted on our website in the About Us section. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what was going on this year and looking forward to going on last year and looking forward to this year. My name is Maggie Blair. I'm the director of the Greer Farmers Market, and I've been the director for about 3 years now. And I'm passionate about increasing access to fresh local foods in Greer, so it's been a great opportunity for me. So this year, in 2026, we're going to have 30 events in Greer City Park, which is great. Last year we had 27, so this is 3 more. Each event is different. We have different musicians, we have different food, different vendors, so it is no small effort to put on our events. Thank you. And we are grateful to the City of Greer for the ability to use the park out there that you can't see right now, but it is beautiful. Our mission is to support local farmers and businesses by giving them an outlet to sell directly to the consumer. We envision a healthy, connected Greer that supports a thriving farm and small business environment. And last year was our 10th year in Greer, so we've been here for 10 years. It was a great year. When I think about what makes Greer Greer, I think our farmers market is a big part of that. And I also believe that a healthy farmers market is a sign of a healthy community. So I think that we have a very healthy farmers market and a healthy community. A little bit more about us. We are a nonprofit 501c3. So we're an independent nonprofit organization working closely with the city and other organizations here in Greer. We have a staff. Last year it was me, and Tiffany was our summer intern. She's here today. And we're grateful for her to be bringing her on as programs manager this year. So we'll have 2, and then we'll also have a summer intern. And then we also have a board of directors and volunteers that help us out. Our 2025 impact, we had a great year again. 22 farms were represented at our market this year. We supported 21 food vendors, 36 musicians, which is a lot more than the year before. We had an average of 40 vendors per market, up from last year or the year before, and 211 market applications, which is a record, but I think we'll do more than that this year. Our vendors are farmers, makers, and bakers. We shoot for 51% staple foods. That means that 51% of the market representation at each market is your loaf breads, your cheeses, your fruits and vegetables and eggs and meats. So we tie our overall vendor attendance to those core staple foods. So we're making sure that we are a true farmers market. Assistance programs are a huge part of our mission. We want to make sure that farmers are getting paid the full price for their products because they work hard and they're local to our community, but we also want to make sure that people can afford, that everyone in our community can afford to partake in the wonderful, healthy produce that we have available. Well, the ways that we do that are through SNAP, through Healthy Bucks, which is a DSS program that provides an additional $15 for people who make a SNAP purchase, and through senior vouchers, which we are a senior voucher distribution site, and through WIC And then also, this year for the first time, Healthy Kids, which was introduced in 2025 with a grant from the Greater Greer Chamber of Commerce. The Leadership Greer Class 45, we're so grateful for them. $5 produce vouchers for the first 50 kids, which is about every child that's interested, regardless of income. We gave out almost $5,000 of those vouchers this year, and we plan to do more than that next year. It can be used on fruits, vegetables, honey, and eggs, and it also provided a craft and education and activities. So that was wonderful for the community. We do have enough sponsorship support to continue that this year, so we're glad to be able to keep that going. We did receive ATAX funds in 2024 and 2025 for marketing and then for programs. That made a huge difference on our market. We're grateful for that. You can see our lively bands are a fun part of our market. So, and then the marketing helped as well. You can see in our survey that we do a vendor survey after every market. And in 2023, 20% of our shoppers were from out of town, and then in 2025, that jumped to 26%. So over time, we have seen more people from out of town coming to our market, and we've seen an increase in satisfaction from our vendors and their satisfaction with the crowd attendance and pretty much everything. So we're grateful to them for sticking with us and their feedback. Marketing, I'll skip over this real quick because I don't want to take up too much time, but our marketing has increased over the years. You can see our 2026 website views are almost double from 2023, so we're getting a lot of good views there. Thank you to our sponsors. Again, vendor fees cover less than half of what it takes to put on our market. We do intentionally try to keep those vendor fees low. It's our mission to support our farmers and makers and bakers. We want to make sure that they're successful, that they're coming out with us and having a good time. So we do keep those vendor fees low, and we supplement with support from the community, that's sponsorships, grants, and not in-kind donations. Now, we had a great year, but there are ways to improve. There's kind of two different ways to improving for our vendors and improving for our shoppers. We get feedback from our vendors that vendor load-in is physically demanding. They're bringing in tables, tents, chairs. They're carrying those things a long distance from the load-in areas to the middle of the field. It is difficult for people with disabilities or who are seniors to come to our market. We do our best to get volunteers to help them. But any advice on that would be helpful. We're very weather dependent, so in addition to vendors carrying in their items from a long ways, they're also in direct sun and rain and wind, so we're continually looking at ways to make it easier for them. For our shoppers, pedestrian safety, crossing the street on Poinsett, can be an issue, and then signage to know about our market. We're thinking about ways to get more signage in the community to help people know about us, because social media by itself is great, but it's also nice to have more signage in the community. Our upcoming events, we've got one this weekend, Sunday, 11 to 2, February 15th, and then we also have March 15th, March 29th, April 19th, and then our weekly markets will start April 26th. So I hope you guys come and join us. And I think I did keep it at where I was trying to go to. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'd love to hear that. If you guys wanted to get together with me another time to discuss anything, I would love to hear that.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions, comments?
I've heard one of the vendors said it's very good. They do real well when they come. I see in the survey where it was the vendors where you did the survey. Do you do a survey of the folks coming to shop? Do you ask them if they are from the city of Greer? Mm-hmm. Was those numbers in there?
We did that not this year, but the year before, and those numbers are in our report for that year. We did. Well, I think I listed by year. So, that was just for the vendors. But we did do a survey on there for them. we had a grant to do that, and we had college students come in and do that for us. But that is something that I would like to have our volunteers do, to catch those shoppers in person. We found that online surveys aren't really utilized for our shoppers, so we have to get them while they're there in the market, and that just takes manpower.
Yeah, I think that would be good because you talk about marketing. I think where you first start marketing is here in the city and then expand out. The other thing I saw, one of the farmers, they were out of Polk County, North Carolina. Do we, or do you and your staff, do y'all do anything regarding food safety as far as, let's say, I see there's a microgreens guy here. I mean, there's certain procedures that Department of Agriculture requires. Do we make sure those folks have got that kind of stuff?
We connect them with those resources. At this time, we're not necessarily doing farm visits, or I'm not sure how.
It wouldn't be farm visits.
Yeah.
It's things that the South Carolina Department of Agriculture says this is what you do for food safety as far as harvesting and shipping and stuff like that.
We list on the application that they need to be following all of those rules.
All right.
I'm not sure that there's a
And we don't do it,
certification.
so y'all don't do a follow-up on it? Is it to make sure, although you say, hey, do it? All right. And one other thing I saw, let's see, Stoneman's Bee Farm. And I don't know how many producers of honey you have, but since we have a vendor coming out of North Carolina, production and bottling of honey is different in North Carolina than it is in South Carolina. It's very stringent in South Carolina, where North Carolina has they don't really have any qualifications.
I don't believe that vendor is bringing in honey. I believe that she's entirely,
There's a lot of products that are brought in, I'm not saying here.
Yeah.
Let's just use honey, for example.
Yeah.
In the state of South Carolina, the Department of Agriculture makes you submit your stamp, or not stamp, but your marketing info that's going to go on the bottle. It's got to show where it was bottled, because then they're supposed to have gone out, because it has to be in a certified bottling.
Right. Yeah, for all products like honey or eggs or meat, there are designated requirements, and they are not, in our application, we require that from them before they apply. So there's a couple different ways that you can do honey, but they have to at least be in one of those routes, and they submit their license or permit or whatever it may be when they apply. When you're talking about like microgreens, there isn't really necessarily like that same sort of certification.
No, it's more of how it's harvested and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Because you can really, a lot of stuff can be transmitted through those. So,
Yeah.
anyway, but thanks.
Was this your first year going to Sunday, or is this the second year?
So 2025 was our first full summer season going on Sundays. In the years prior, we did our brunch markets, our January through April on Sundays. And it was the success of those that really had our vendors come to us and ask us to do Sundays over the summer, because the foot traffic for those was great, and the sales with that foot traffic were so much higher than the Tuesdays. We also find that the traffic on Poinsett is really difficult at rush hour, and it was difficult for people to physically get to our market because that road was almost gridlocked.
I like that. There's not many communities that are doing it on Sunday. I think that's
We've had really good feedback. The vendors really enjoyed it. So that was kind of their decision, and we went with it, and I think it worked out great.
Thank you.
Maggie, the Healthy Kids program, what's the plan? I'm curious, what's the plan to make that sustainable and self-funding through time?
Yes. So we've kind of pulled in a little bit. We had a big 2025, but we've got it sustainable through sponsorships within the community. That $5 vouchers is so core, so we want to hold on to that. And then any additional funding to continue those activities and so forth. We're asking for community support for nonprofits or for volunteers to come in and continue to make those activities that part of the program continue. So anybody that's interested in getting involved with the farmers market as a volunteer, as a sponsor, we would love to have you.
One other question I was going to ask you. Are you seeing any barriers to participation with vendors and farms and small businesses that way coming and being able to participate? Anything we can do to help?
Yes. Yes. So I've been having ongoing conversations regarding the business license. I know that that is a topic of conversation with you guys. So if there's any way that I can continue to be involved in that conversation, I would love to offer a lot more feedback there. I know that's a whole different can of worms, but
What is the issue?
so in the past, like 2 years ago, vendors at our market did not need a business license to attend. And then I believe it was the enforcement of an existing rule that came in last year. And so all of our vendors needed a business license, but there is an exception for farmers, which was really helpful. But there is an ongoing discussion on what is a farmer. So I think also to look at the business license fees for market vendors in Greer versus other areas, and seeing how competitive we can be price-wise. The better that we can treat our vendors and our small businesses and our farmers, the better I know our market will be. And I think that the overall community would also see that as a very small business forward move.
Do we know what? Because it would be a small fee, right, for a business license for,
We'll get more information on that, and I'm sure you can provide us more information on that. I think that's something that staff can take a look at.
I'm still learning a lot myself as I'm new to this situation. So, yeah, I'm trying to learn and work alongside everybody.
Okay.
Well, I do believe your program's a great program for the city.
Well, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to be here.
We appreciate it. We look forward to, looks like Valentine's weekend. We'll kick off with an event that weekend. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like for staff to see if there's some way we could kind of mitigate the cross problem there at Poinsett, at least a temporary thing on Sundays for them.
The crossing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. With that, let's move to the administrator's report. Andy Merriman, our city administrator, is in Columbia tonight. He has spent the day at the State House visiting with some of our representatives and at a dinner this evening, and then we'll be at a board meeting with the Municipal Association tomorrow, and then some more visits. So busy in Columbia representing the City of Greer. Mr. Sell, do you have information you need to bring to council this evening?
Yes, sir. Just a few items for the administrator's report. One is to kind of start out with a big thank you to our public services, police and fire staff. As everyone's aware, we had back-to-back storms since our last council meeting, and the response by those teams was tremendous to get out and be able to put in the hours and time and effort to make sure everything was clear and address all the needs that they needed to. Just to kind of give a little bit of statistics and some numbers that were provided from public services, the PD, and the fire department. They spent an immense amount of time just coordinating, communicating during the events about where trouble spots were and making sure that different teams responded to those trouble areas in a timely manner. Public services staff members worked around the clock, putting in about 5,725 labor hours to maintain those roads, grounds, and facilities, utilizing 17,000 gallons of brine and about 295 tons of sand and salt. PD responded to numerous weather-related wrecks and stranded drivers, and the PD responded to different events. In one instance, pulling 3 people from a mobile home fire started due to a space heater. So very active for them, a lot of hard work, and the attitude of that staff and those members of those teams was nothing but positive. The response that we've received and the comments that we've gotten from the public has been extremely positive as well. But so we just wanted to make sure that we send a big thank you out to those the public safety teams. Just a couple other items to note. Accommodations tax grant. City of Greer is accepting applications for the accommodations tax grant for fiscal year 2026 and 2027. Applications will be accepted until Wednesday, March 4th here at City Hall. The Greer Heritage Museum is having an event on the 14th. Join them from 10 to 11 a.m. or from 1 to 2 p.m. for a Valentine's journey across 150 years of Greer history. You can go to the Greer Heritage Museum's website to get more information on that event. Kind of an advanced note, but it's never too early to start planning for a party. We will be celebrating as part of the celebrations for our 150th throughout the year. For the 150th birthday of the city, we're holding a big bash, the Greer 150 Big Bash, on Saturday, March 28th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. in downtown Greer. There'll be interactive experiences, living history demonstrations, live music, vibrant performances, a kids zone, and much more. And again, you can go to the Greer 150 website to get updates and more information on that event. And just as a final note, just a reminder to the public and to everyone that the city offices will be closed on Monday, February 16th in observance of President's Day, and will resume their normal schedule on the following Tuesday. As always, our public safety teams maintain their normal operating hours during that time. Mayor, Council, that is it for the administrator's report. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, sir. Council, with that, let's move to items of new business, the only business that we have this evening. And the first item is the first reading of ordinance number 4-2026. This is an ordinance authorizing the closure of a portion of a public road in the city of Greer known as Moore Street. Mr. Sell, I believe you've already given us an update, but any new or additional information in regards to the closure of Moore Street?
One item I would like to note that I failed to mention during the public hearing portion is that we also notified as required the utilities for their comment and response back in regards to the closure of that portion of Moore Street. We did receive feedback from them, and no one had any issues with the closure in regards to utility locations or impact to utilities. So I did want to make that note.
Thank you, sir. With that, then, I'll entertain a motion to receive ordinance number 4-2026.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Floor is open for discussion.
Now, what's the impetus for this? We are abandoning it, we're closing, but we're abandoning it. Whose property does it become?
All right, I can give you a little bit of perspective on it. We were contacted by the South Carolina Department of Transportation, who is working on an effort with the railroads to improve safety at intersections. That particular, at Moore Street and Line Street, where the line crosses, there is a safety related issue to the cross arms on that particular side of the street. As you may recall, the actual arm is on the south side of Moore Street, meaning that if you're on Moore Street and that arm is down, you technically can clearly turn and go across the railroad track. So they were wanting to move that arm and make some improvements to that particular area, asking us to consider several different options to help mitigate that. It was analyzed by not only our staff, but the railroad company and DOT. A few different options were presented, but most of them had very minimal impact on the safety concerns. The closure of the portion of this street made the most sense with a minimal impact to the area. That street is in the railroad right-of-way, but it is a city-maintained street.
So who does the property revert to?
The property will revert to the railroad. It's
Now,
their right-of-way.
It's-
It's already in their right-of-way.
Okay, it's their right-of-way, but a right-of-way and
It's a
ownership.
public right-of-way.
But it's, explain this, if it's a right-of-way, doesn't necessarily mean ownership, it just means they have the right to, so who owns the property? The city, correct?
Well, in technical sense of owner property is like a parcel, no. I mean, but it is public right-of-way that's maintained by the city, that's in the railroad right-of-way.
Okay.
It's, ownership is, I think, ownership ultimately falls to us, but also controlled by, because it's in the railroad right-of-way, by the railroad. So it will revert to a no man's land. I think it still will stay right-of-way, the street will be closed. We're not transferring the property to property owners or to the railroad company as part of this process.
So who will maintain that then?
We will maintain it, much like we do now with around the CSX line, the Norfolk line. We cut all that grass, maintain all that property.
All right, so that gets me to this position. I mean, who first requested it besides DOT, or was DOT the first to request?
DOT.
And they,
Their request came from the railroad company.
okay. So on the railroad side of it, I think our ordinance says that we are supposed to obtain the value, something, there's language in the ordinance, correct, about if we are going to close a road, that whoever is requesting it, that we should go to the requestor and say, there's so much value in this, therefore it's worth this. Although now we're getting into the weeds of it, that the railroad requested it, but we have to maintain it.
Just
So-
like we maintain the road now.
Yes, but it's not closed.
And it's not transferred to a private owner either.
I got that. So,
It's staying public property.
It'd be the same thing as the other end of Moore Street, which we closed and we now maintain, where the trees and the grass is from, as you come to the, right, where on the
Yes.
far end of Moore
Correct,
Street,
from what was done during the port.
during the port.
Yes, that is correct.
Wait a minute,
We do
where?
maintain that.
you're talking about on down?
The port bought like 2 blocks.
Yes,
It was in the right of way,
but they bought that
Right of
property,
way.
right? And we don't maintain it anymore.
yeah, we do. I'm pretty sure we
To
do.
my knowledge, we still do,
Yeah.
yes.
We landscaped it and maintain it.
I remember there was an issue about landscaping because what the railroad said they were going to do and then they didn't do. It was conceptual. So, okay.
Others? Discussion?
Would you be able to shoot fireworks from that little piece of property?
There's some thinking.
Well, there is some additional advantage to the city. We've been talking about the quiet crossings, and this is going to give us the ability to work with the railroad and others to help facilitate that in terms of the new equipment and possibly some costs as well, too.
What is the future of the physical asphalt? Is it broken up and removed? Is it just left
It'll be broken up, removed, and grassed.
and grassed? Okay. And is this, there's a parcel that, on this map that I'm looking at, is that, there's a home on this Robert Taylor's property?
Which portion?
I can give you a tax ID number, but there's no, I don't know if this shows there's any buildings there or not.
My knowledge, it doesn't affect ingress or egress to that
this-
lot.
This lot?
Yeah. I don't think.
That's correct.
Okay.
Comments?
How bad's the railroad want this?
Excuse me?
That's a legitimate question. Why, how bad does the railroad want it? I mean, why?
I think that, to the mayor's point, I think one of the things that we've engaged in a process because of the, kind of started with the apartment project to implement a quiet crossing. And there is to the mayor's point, a mutual benefit to both of us to implement this closing so that the most secure option for control of vehicular traffic along in that area, creating more safety will help us down the road when we begin the process of meeting the requirements that the railroad will have in place for a quiet crossing. And I can, based on the feedback that I heard in the general discussion that took place in a couple meetings, that in the current conditions that crossing is in, that the railroad would be unlikely to grant the quiet crossing because of the extreme safety issue that's present at that particular location now. So it's a mutual benefit to both of us. So they want it for their safety concerns and that are legitimate, and we want it because it will be conducive to our efforts in a broader project that we have.
Well, I guess that leads to this. Since we don't have all the information, council doesn't have all the information, since we found out now this is connected to a bigger project that the city is looking at, and we say it's going to be a mutual benefit to the city and to the railroad, but you also said there's the requirements that the railroad has. So if there's requirements, which would be a cost to us, the way I read that, is that there's a total cost, and then, so for us closing this section of road, how much cost is reduced for us to obtain that quiet zone?
That's unknown at this time.
Okay.
But I do know that if absent the railroad's willingness to invest now in the safety improvements for that crossing, that if we were to work it from our end to implement the quiet crossings project, that we would probably bear the full cost of those safety improvements at that particular location. Whereas now we're bearing no cost because they're making the improvements other than us closing the street to facilitate that improvement.
It'll also include a pedestrian crossing as well, too.
So the railroad's installing the pedestrian crossing?
I don't know if that's a part of the quiet
I'm
crossing or not.
unfamiliar with the particular improvements that they're doing now as part of that, but as part of the quiet crossings, we are looking at that. That's correct.
No, I understand
And,
that, but
and then, of course, our
separate arm for the
fixing
crossing.
the current issue would be added to that effort. So whereas, yes, we may be paying to implement a pedestrian crossing there, we would also be paying to improve the safety at that intersection. Now it's being taken care of.
okay, if I understand how this whole thing is trying to fit together, closing that is our portion of the safety issue, right? Or
It's one of them, yes.
okay, so why does that have to be done now if we don't even know the cost of the project, if we can even afford it, if it's, you know, all the nuances of it, what it would cost, anything like that? I mean, it's
But we know if we don't do it, we're not going to afford it down the road.
But, and that's where I'm trying to, you're losing me on it, because our portion is to close the road. That's all we're doing. But, so the railroad.
Possibly, we may have some portion of the pedestrian crossing that we're going to have to take care of.
But we would always have that, correct?
Yeah.
So what is the benefit to closing the road? I can't get my mind wrapped around that we're going to close an asset of ours and then have to maintain it. and we haven't even begun to speak about the cost for this quiet area. And I'm just trying to figure out how this is responsible, the way we're,
If the effort to implement the quiet crossings doesn't take place, for whatever reason,
Yeah.
we do not support the cost, we
Right.
do not, whatever could happen in that regard. I think that the railroad company would still be interested in improving the safety at that particular area. And I think that in our staff, we are interested in improving that safety. So regardless of that particular project, the effort to improve safety by moving and doing this work is going to create a safer crossing that doesn't exist now.
I understand,
So even without the project, this is a recommended path.
And then
It just helps to be conducive to that future effort that we're working on.
I understand about the railroad wanting safety because they want less liability. So they're asking us to do away with an asset, but they're not playing in the game. They don't have skin in the game. They're just saying, hey, close the street down so to make it safe. Well, although we had a truck get hit right down the street from there.
We did.
There was crossing arms there. And somebody wasn't paying attention. But I didn't realize there was a safety issue until now.
I didn't realize it till
I
I
do
went out
not-
there and drove on the road and saw where the arm was and saw what the problem was, because, like I said, if you're on Moore Street and you can cross the track when that arm's down.
Yeah, and then you scoot around it. I
But
mean,
it's not going around it because you're
No, I know.
behind it.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
But that's the railroad issue.
There's not
Well, but it's our
there's not
road,
an
so
arm
maybe
at
it's our
that-
issue too.
At that, where the wreck was there? There's not an arm at
Yes.
that.
Yeah, they tore that arm down, the train did, when it came through and drug the truck. Yeah,
Didn't realize that.
yeah.
Yeah, he
Have
bottomed
we had
out,
any
got
safety
stuck.
issues on Moore? Like
It's not,
specific to this area?
it's not necessarily about more. There's no driveways off of more. There's no, other than going into the Victor Village there, this is a road in the right-of-way of the railroad that now you can come up and turn across even if the arm is down.
Behind the arm, yeah.
And so this is an opportunity for them to address a safety issue and for us to take advantage of what could be a very expensive issue for us in terms of the quiet crossings that we want to do all the way through the city. And no, we could tell them no. But it's their right of way, and we don't know what's going to happen after that, and their willingness to participate in the quiet crossings beyond that would make it beyond our ability to do anything about this one, as well as any of the other 5 or 6 that we plan to address.
I guess the question I would have, that the road has been there for a long time, and we just recently started talking about quiet crossings. So did this come out, hey, you guys want to implement these quiet crossings? Are we going to start looking at items, and that's how it got addressed? Is this, in the railroad's mind, directly linked with this quiet crossing, or is that what we're making?
No, the
linked?
safety issue was the first thing that came up. You can drive down Moore Street and turn onto a live track without an arm hindering you from doing it.
Okay.
This first and final, or just one reading, or we got 2?
There'll just be 2 readings. This is the first, and the second will be at the next meeting.
Mr. Sell,
Pending those votes.
is it not true, is it reasonable to say part of what's in it for us is improving safe connectivity between our residents on the other side and our downtown here?
Absolutely. I
Part
mean,
of what
even
we're
though
getting
it's a
out of this.
liability for the railroad company, it's a impact to us if there was an accident response. I mean, and that's us as first responders on the scene of an accident. So, it's when we, as staff, engineering staff, began taking a look at the particular area and seeing the scope of what the issue was, it became apparent to us that in its best interest of the public to improve the safety at that, regardless of the effort for the quiet crossings. And the quiet crossings efforts, it was when this first started in its very early stages. It's progressing along slowly, but it is progressing, and we are still actively working on that project. They acknowledged in their conversation that this work will go a long way to helping with our effort for the quiet crossings.
We get a little bit of goodwill from them, maybe. And we get benefit from this, you know, or at least the people who might die because they turn left get benefit.
All right.
I would, before the second reading, if this is tied to something larger, I'd like to see the something larger before we have the second reading.
That's doable.
Agreed.
All right.
First reading of ordinance 4-2026, last call. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
No.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, we have no old business to attend to this evening. We do have two matters in executive session. I will entertain a motion that we go into executive session at this point in time.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss two economic development matters pertaining to Project Keystone and Project Titus as allowed by state statute, Section 30-4-70A5.
Comes as a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Thank y'all for joining us this evening. We'll take the room. We'll let you know if you want to stay for any information after the executive session. Thank you.